So, but we don't, knock on wood, we don't, we haven't wrecked a car in a while. So, yeah, yep.
Okay.
Or I should say that, and a lot of, I mean, a lot of our vehicles are old, and if we did wreck it, I don't know if we'd fix them. So,
In that packet, there should be something about the actuarial.
yep. Yeah, I clipped it here,
Oh, okay.
just so I can go to it.
Turn on the camera now.
Not sitting in a meeting.
It seems like they're getting to work and cleaning up. This was just seemingly a hopeful outlier. What I did like at Bruce is I was like, look, Bruce, like you're one of the older. Do you have any concerns about the effectiveness of this organization? Now she kind of speak up, for which I was told no. So I have to trust the process. At the end of the day, the call tomorrow will just be, look, communication was asked for.
Council, we're 1 minute away. Can we get those mics screened, please?
Hey. Yeah, I'll get you cleared.
Justice sent a, he sent an email.
Let the games begin. Did you miss me?
Yes.
All right, the clock has struck 30. May we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to wish members of public here in person and those tuning in via our different broadcast channels a very good evening and welcome to our City Council meeting of Monday, June 23rd. And with that, please have Clerk Tomasic call roll.
Schumate.
Here.
Cox.
Here.
McNabb.
Here.
Molnar.
Here.
Valentine.
Here.
Walden. Wood.
Thank you. Council, we'd be looking for a motion to excuse absent council members
Motion to excuse council members Wood
And Walden.
and Walden.
and Walden.
Second.
We have a motion by McNabb and a second by Valentine. Katie, do you have what you need?
Yep.
Clerk Tomasic, can you please call a roll?
Cox,
Yes.
McNabb,
Yes.
Molnar,
Yes.
Schumate.
Yes.
Valentine.
Yes.
Next, I'd like to call your attention to the agenda that has been public notice for this evening's council meeting. Council will be looking for a motion to approve this evening's agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Molnar, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Valentine. Any discussion? Clerk Tomasic, please call roll.
McNabb,
Yes.
Molnar.
Yes.
Schumate.
Yes.
Valentine.
Yes.
Cox.
Yes.
With an approved agenda, we'd like to turn it over to our members of public for any public comment you may have. For any members of public wishing to address council, please make sure that light is green and state your name and your address.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Department Heads. Dennis Bosmer, 29775 Point Drive, here in Gibraltar. So just want to remind everybody that July 28th, it's a Monday, from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m., we're having a blood drive, the American Red Cross, partnering with the City of Gibraltar gratefully for the building, the Gil Talbert Community Center. Our tribe and also the school district is also involved with the partnership, which is great. So a little fun thing, there's 2 tickets times 3 people. We're gonna draw up to 6 tickets, so we're gonna partner with just a couple, you know. We're gonna pull the donors' names, and it's for Six Flags, which is anywhere in America. So if you're on vacation this summer and you're in Georgia and there's a Six Flag, you can use them there. Locally, Muskegon has Michigan Adventure, and then, of course, Sandusky has Cedar Point. So it's a fun thing that the Red Cross regional manager gave me to donate and raffle off. So we need, the blood drive is important. It's helping your fellow neighbor out in the time of need. So on Monday, July 28th, 10 to 4, 3:45 is the last appointment time they have there. Gil Talbot Community Center, AmericanRedCross.org, 1-800-RED Cross, bosmer@me.com. I can facilitate, they give me a volunteer coordinator login so I can schedule your appointment if you need help. So thanks for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Are there any other members of public that wish to address council this evening? Keep in mind, you have another public comment before we close if you have anything you come up with while we're executing our meeting this evening. Well, I'm not seeing any other public comments, so we will close public comment at the opening, and we will move to our consent agenda. Council, I will not read all these items since we have A through J. Members of public, you'll see those items captured in the public agenda that has been put out there. But council, as you review your packet, specifically with a focus on consent agenda items A through J, we'd be looking for a motion to approve consent agenda items A through J.
Well, I just have a question, and maybe this is to the attorney. I wasn't able to attend the 6-2 or 6-4 meetings, so the meeting minutes are within this consent agenda. How would I properly handle that?
Well, you're just approving the minutes itself, not what happened at the meeting, so you could still vote on it and approve it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for clarifying the procedure. Council motion would be in your court to approve consent agenda items A through J. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve consent agenda A through J.
A motion by Valentine. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Cox. Any discussion, council? Clerk Tomasic, please call roll.
Molnar,
Yes.
Schumate.
Yes.
Valentine.
Yes.
Cox.
Yes.
McNabb.
Yes.
Motion carried. With an approved consent agenda, that will move us to our communications, for which we do not have any communications this evening. So council, I'd like to take us to my report. Council, I have items A through E, and we'll go through each item one by one. For item A, it's a very exciting item coming out of our special meeting on June 13th. Item A is our part-time position for DPW Director, Project Manager, and Engineer. Council, both within your packet and based on follow-up communications with our city attorney, thank you so much for your involvement in working to generate an employment agreement. We now have in front of you the employment agreement for consideration. Just a little bit of background. This is from our special meeting for which council had designed and authorized a part-time position for the mentioned title. At a high level, we discussed the proposed structure. This individual will be reporting to our city administrator and ultimately serves under the direction of council. They will have two primary pillars of responsibility. Pillar one will be working to ensure a clear work schedule for our DPW team, meeting with them regularly to plan activities and prioritize said activities based on need in the city of Gibraltar and our operation day to day, and make sure that that attracts in an efficient and effective way with the required equipment, material, and personnel. You can imagine that that will be a day-to-day operational requirement of this individual, and will allow us to make sure we're deploying our resources as effectively and efficiently as possible in partnership hand in hand with our DPW personnel. And then pillar two is gonna be a quarterback role. And that quarterback role will be quarterbacking the interface with professional services and vendors to make sure we're advancing our strategic priorities with a focus on our big infrastructure project list. I think it's an incredibly valuable role. Within the agreement that was sent to you, our city attorney has worked to review all parameters that must be accounted for in context of this part-time position, with the up to 25-hour allocation, with a start date of tomorrow, pending council's execution this evening with the motion to authorize that said agreement, and all the applicable details shared with you. Obviously, I'm very grateful because we have Mr. John Sant here in chambers, who would be the one in this position. I know we discussed this exhaustively, but Mr. Sant, just a profuse thank you to all of the hard work that you have done for the city over the last many, many months and more broadly. And I think you are such a perfect fit for this role for all the reasons we discussed at council. So, council, I'd be looking for a motion to authorize the execution of our at-will employment agreement for Mr. John Sant.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Cox.
I'll second the motion.
We have a second by McNabb. Council, any discussion on this matter?
I just want to point out the date has to be fixed before it gets signed at the very first sentence.
Perfect. So we will, Mr. Sant, according to our discussions, we'll make sure that date reflects upon execution of the agreement, the 24th of June, and I want to state that here for the record. Any further discussion on this matter? Thank you, Clerk Tomasic. Clerk Tomasic, whenever you are ready, we will have you call roll.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Molnar?
Yes.
Motion carried. John, once this agreement is executed formally, welcome to the team, and we're so excited to have you. I discussed with members of our administration that will be working with you this week to schedule an onboarding session. Focus will be on myself, Councilman Cox, and Treasurer Fonte, given our proximity to the day-to-day operation of this transition window. So we'll make sure you are set up for success beyond all the knowledge and equity you bring to the table already. Thank you. So that will transition me to item B on my report this evening. Item B is a transition of city administrator position. Council, I'm really excited about this for a couple of reasons. Without going into exhaustive detail, just to kind of rewind the tape, we've posted the position. We've gotten well over 100 applicants for our city administrator role. We've worked across this administration to dissect the applicants based on resume and no need for the city of Gibraltar. We had publicly scheduled and publicly noticed interviews take place. And council, the short synopsis for you today, based on our discussions, is we have a short list of final candidates. That short list of final candidates, we're working offline with each of you and public noticing as appropriate to finalize the interview schedule. I will be requesting additional interview scheduling with some council members for one of those candidates who still has council members that they must meet with as we go through this process. And I hope that we are able to do two things this week. One, hold those final interviews that we require, and again, we'll schedule those and we'll public notice those as needed. And then two, for those final applicant pool candidates, I want to make sure they get time with our department heads and broader city personnel as it relates to the necessity for a good culture fit within the broader operation beyond the interviews we've had. I hope that over the next 1 to 2 weeks, it allows us to finalize our selection of a candidate, as well as allows me to work with Clerk Tomasic to communicate with all the other applicants for which we will not be pursuing their applications further. And then we can converge that on a decision point at our July 14th meeting, the first meeting in July, the next meeting we have. So that's the game plan. Councilman McNabb, special shout out to you. You've been a hand-in-hand partner through this process, including today, so I thank you for that. broader council members, thank you for your involvement in the interviews, and just want to stop there and see if you had any questions, feedback, or concerns on the process and the target timeline. All right, well, I'm excited because Mr. Sant, pending his formal execution of the agreement tomorrow, we'll have a few weeks of onboarding and acclimation of the role, and then Mr. Sant, you will have a new manager that will be formally selected on July 14th. So I think structurally speaking, the stars are aligning quite well over the next few weeks. With that, it will turn me over to my next item on my agenda. Council, and we have an individual who's been very close to this operation. So if you didn't notice, Chief Bullard is not here with us today, but our next in command is here and has been working with us more broadly on the topic of actuarial evaluation and police pension. Council, just to acclimate you, this information was sent by Clerk Tomasic, but I want to make sure that we could level set on where we came from and where we are today. All I'm looking for today is a fundamental alignment on the direction of the negotiations with your feedback to be inputted today. What that next step would be is if we achieve alignment today amongst council, then I'd like to allow our city attorney to generate a letter of understanding in partnership with the union so that we can converge that on a final execution as early as July 14th, our next council meeting. So just to give you a little broader background, and Trush, please keep me honest as we go through this process. Council, in our negotiations with the POAM and COAM, we had one topic that was raised, which was the appetite to do a supplemental actuarial valuation for the City of Gibraltar Public Safety Officers Retirement System. Amy and some others here on Chambers are definite proximate experts on this pension. At a high level, our pension for police has done incredibly well. And Amy, I don't know, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you can speak to that or validate that we are in a pretty good spot financially with our police pension.
We'll find out. Well, we were with the last evaluation, and we'll find out more with the next one, which will be coming up soon.
Awesome.
I'm pretty sure we're still overfunded, though.
So overfunded is a critical current state. And what we wanted to accomplish with this actuarial evaluation, based on our discussion with the union and council, you would authorize that, was really dissect the data around potential proposed changes to our police pension structure. And so I want to call out your attention on where we are today. At a high level, based on discussions with the union representatives and Finance Director McEwen, and at least one council member peripherally involved during the dialogue to date, the unions have put forth a proposal. So, council, if you don't have it in front of you, this is the GRS packet. And that GRS packet is the actual valuation from the actuarial analyses. And when you look at that, simply put, the union has put forth a proposal for us. And if you look at the options, there's 3 options that have been put forth with proposed changes for each option. Option 1 is include overtime and longevity in the calculation of the final average compensation, known as FAC, with a current Tier 2 multiplier of 2.25%. Option 2 is increase the Tier 2 multiplier to 2.7% for prospective service, i.e. after June 30th of 2024, inclusive of the change to FAC calculation described in the first proposal. And then proposal 3 is increase the Tier 2 multiplier to 2.7% for past and prospective service, inclusive of the change to FAC calculation described in proposal 1. You'll also notice that the valuation also calls out for retirements effective July 1st, 2024. It's a proposal 4. Establish an annuity withdrawal option described below that is actuarial neutral for the retiree and retirement system. Upon retirement, a member may elect to receive a lump sum distribution of his or her member contribution balance. To reflect the lump sum distribution, his or her retirement annuity would be actuarially reduced such that the present value of future benefit remains unchanged. B, only member contributions of the retirement system that were contractually obligated will be considered for the actuarial reduction to the retirement annuity. In other words, member contributions of the retirement system in excess of what was contractually required, i.e. 2% surplus contributions, if any, would be refunded to the retiree without reduction to the retirement annuity. I know it's a lot of words to digest, but I want to kind of summarize a couple things here. Amy, Finance Director McEwen, and I went to the unions and had proposed that we would be comfortable, preliminary, pending council's review and approval, of proposal 1, which is include overtime and longevity in the calculation of final average compensation with the current tier 2 multiplier of 2.25%, and proposal 4, which is that annuity withdrawal option. Why we felt we would be comfortable with that proposal is speaking strictly from a financial position perspective. With our police pension being overfunded, with the thresholds for which we are obligated, we didn't feel that would present any material financial impact while also meeting the unions in the middle for their goals. Their goals are really twofold, and Trush, please keep me honest as I summarize here. One is to make sure that we have a system in our Gibraltar Public Safety Department, specifically focused on our police, that is driving a ability to recruit very effective talent and retain very effective talent. As you all are familiar, varying degrees with public safety departments, we've faced it ourselves with our amazing department and looking at new hire opportunities or succession planning. Talent, recruitment, and retention is mission critical. And if we can dial up in a position of an overfunded pension, if we can dial up these measures, we are more attractive for recruitment and retention of employees. That's one. The second thing is, I think we should be blunt about it, is it puts more money in our officers' pockets in context of these proposed changes. And so I tell you those blunt rationales because those are the drivers for why the union wanted to propose this valuation. This is why council authorized the valuation to be performed. Now we're sitting here with data and a backdrop of current state understanding with a proposal from the union. Now, as I mentioned, Finance Director McCune and I came in with proposal 1 and 4. The unions initially came in with a rebuttal of option 3, proposal 3. You can imagine proposal 3 is more of a significant financial consideration for the city of Gibraltar. We asked them to come back to the drawing table, recognizing the biggest concern we flagged to them, which is the decisions we are considering today, we must consider the long-term impact. Specifically, in a state of potential economic uncertainty with unknown market trajectory considerations, we did not want to overcommit ourselves in the near term. Even though we're in a great overfunded position today, we can't predict the mid to long-term future, and we didn't want to overexpose ourselves. With that being said, the union came back to the table and proposed a happy medium. And that happy medium is what we're recommending to you today for consideration. That happy medium is allowing us to meet in the middle of the two positions. And the union, in their words, is sharing in the pie, sharing in the risk. I would say more than the initial position they had, which was proposal 3. So that proposal is to have a 7% contribution for the remainder of their contract, share in the pie, a 2.7% multiplier aligned with proposal 3 language, and then we can evaluate that 7% upon the next contract negotiation. So it hooks the 2.7% aligned with proposal 3, but it allows us to share in the pie and them dialing up their contribution of 7%, keeping in mind that that would then be a negotiated item in our next union contract cycle. So I know I'm trying to be as simple and dissecting this as possible because there's a lot of complexity here, but that's the synopsis. So council, what I'm asking for you to consider, and I'll summarize it very simply. The union has came asking for better talent recruitment and retention opportunity and more dollars in the pockets of our amazing personnel. After evaluating this actuarial valuation, putting data behind this understanding, and several meetings with Finance Director McEwen and I and the unions, we feel we've arrived at a position where I would be supportive and Finance Director McEwen would be supportive of this middle ground proposal. The devil's in the details, meaning if you all are endorsing this proposal, and I want to open up for discussion, then the next step would be for having Anthony, our city attorney, work on a letter of understanding, work on all the legal elements of this, work with the unions and the attorneys representing the parties involved to make sure that we are locked and loaded from a language perspective and that everything is airtight on the agreement front. But I thought it was very important to bring this to you today. Trush, hopefully I represented that accurately. Please correct me if I misspoke in any capacity or if you have anything additionally you'd like to add.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head.
Okay. So council, I don't think we need to memorialize this in a motion per se. I'm raising this to you to see, is there any objections before we start putting legwork behind a letter of understanding? I'm not hearing any objections. If you think about anything thereafter, after this discussion, please feel free to reach out to myself. And next step will be a letter of understanding that will allow you to look at this in a little more detail in context of a formal agreement for which I would be asking for your approval. Sound good? Josh, anything else you want to add?
Nope, I'm all set.
Awesome.
I do have one question. Officer Trush, when is the next board meeting? Just timing wise, trying to figure everything out.
It's in August, I think the third week of August.
Okay.
I don't have the exact date in front of me.
Lieutenant.
Sorry.
I'm just giving a hard time.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So then we'll feed all of this together and align the stars on city attorney. Will work with the unions based on the discussions we had today to make sure that we have the right parties at the table to lock down specifics.
So it's August 12th.
Thank you. All right. Next item on my agenda this evening, I think is a pretty short and sweet one, which is I'd put on here the Senior Alliance Memorandum of Understanding. Council, just a couple things that I think are important to highlight here. If you recall, let's just start off. Big picture, we've done everything we possibly can and want to continue to push ourselves to support our seniors in the city of Gibraltar. And to integrate as many resources for them as possible. And one of that pathways has been our partnership with Senior Alliance and making sure that we're providing resources, point of contacts, and everything we can to support our senior demographic in the city of Gibraltar. With that being said, Carrie came to present on Senior Alliance as she's taken on her role and its connection to Gibraltar. And she had asked us to consider the Memorandum of Understanding that was reviewed in public comment podium by Carrie in the last council meeting. Since then, why this is short and sweet is, since then, we've been diving on the Memorandum of Understanding, working with city attorney and all parties involved in this chambers here to make sure that we are very clearly aware of the specifics of the agreement, any sort of liability considerations for the city of Gibraltar before we execute that formal partnership. At this time, we have some questions we're going to go back to the Senior Alliance with, based on that review with the city attorney and the members of this administration. So no action required for today. I just want to give you an update since the ball was continuing to progress behind the scenes with those reviews. Any questions, feedback on Senior Alliance Memorandum of Understanding? Okay. Last item for me today is going to be our administrative updates. A couple things that I want to highlight today. I think I would say focus areas that I want to flag for this set of administrative peers of mine is number one, I think Councilman McNabb, waterways. I know we talked about the weed harvester and summer and the hot weather and the weed activity, so I think you're going to be bringing an update. I know the Waterways Commission is working hard on that. Yes. Number two I want to flag to everybody is going to be roads and road repairs and concrete and other elements of that. I know Councilman Cox, you and other parties have been working hard on exploring the pathways for that aspect. And then number three is I want to flag the contract for our HVAC maintenance services. If you recall, we had authorized a service agreement for maintenance and HVAC. Anthony, we're going to make sure we get your final perspective from a legal point of view on pathway considerations to make sure we're reviewing the contract we have and pathways for success related to our HVAC needs. So I just want to put that on your radar. So those are just three things that I want to make sure we're focused on. And I know the Infrastructure Advisory Committee and many members sitting here up on chambers are all in on that, and some updates will be coming this evening. Next thing I want to flag to you this evening, members of the community, is a really important one, which is when you look at the city of Gibraltar, we have our strategic pillars for our, I would say, priorities as we look at the city operation and where we're deploying resources. And I want to make sure we're giving an update on those each meeting we have. So a couple things I want to flag. And we'll just cover the updates that have been most recently progressed since our last meeting. RFP for Walking Bridge. I know that's been executed pre-bid meeting on 6/5, bids returned and obviously in review. Mr. Sant, again, another example of a work to contribute driving, addressing an issue or an unmet need. We have our roof replacements for City Hall. I know the Infrastructure Advisory Committee and some of our council members are looking at different pathways and potential repair pathways versus replacement pathways. I know that a lot of these projects are feeding into our planning and DDA because some of it's bond spend related. Parking lot replacements, that bids are due on June 26th, which is an exciting upcoming milestone to look forward to. The next one is a cell tower update. Council, I'll be pulling you into some information so that we can settle the cell tower pathway. If you recall, we have an existing lease and agreement, and we need to renegotiate that as it's coming up not too long in front of us for expiration. We need to make sure we're set up for success for the long term, and those leases often span many decades. Custodian RFP is another one I want to flag. I know Treasurer Fonte, we spoke about this. Simply put, we have 2 applicants for our janitor position, and we have a strategic vision to pursue a custodian RFP. Treasurer Fonte, I know we're well in flight on the custodian RFP front. I don't know if you have any comment you want to make there before I get to the other elements.
Yeah, I have the template for that now, Mayor, but more importantly, some of the facts that came about this week about the rentals and the cleanups and so on and so forth, that we threw this on the table before, so I would consider you keeping those applications, because I think once we get into the bigger dialogue on this and scheduling cleanup at the community centers, Director Austin might want to have his own cleanup crew for that purpose, for the agility to move the cleaning around without it interfering with the contract basis of maybe the RFP.
I think he's spot on, and thank you for sharing that. So council, what I want you to consider is, I would say by next council meeting, we could probably be in a position to come back with not only the custodian RFP update, but ultimately considering janitor support for our existing Parks and Rec operation. We got a lot of ground to cover and clean, and we want to make sure all that is set up for success. And so to Treasurer Fonte's point, we could consider tapping into the janitor applications that we have on file, supplemental to the broader custodian services we're pursuing. Next on my list, and again, I'm just focusing on ones that have progressed significantly. Insurance for our employees. Council, short and sweet, and Finance Director McEwen, thank you for all of your hard work. As I mentioned in our last meeting, we now have 2 options of insurance coverage for our employees, and we saw several of our employees pursue tentative selection of the new option in the context of an HSA, which is kind of a win-win scenario for parties that it's suitable for. A win because employees save and a win because the city saves. So I'm really excited about the progression there coming out of our all-employee engagement. 4th of July planning is rocking and rolling, and I'll be giving Parks and Recreation Director Austin's report this evening. Please send your thoughts to Austin as he's home recovering from a procedure. I want to flag concrete repair again. I think Councilman Cox, I know you've worked hard on working with the teams on the concrete repair front in addition to the broader road repair flag that we put forth. If you look at CCR, I want to stop there. So members of public, for everybody tuning in or those that are here in attendance personally, it is time for our consumer confidence report. And it's our annual drinking water quality report. I'm really excited because I'll just read you the headline and then I'll talk about next steps. The City of Gibraltar is proud of the water it supplies and is honored to provide this report to you. The Great Lakes Water Authority and the City of Gibraltar Water and Sewer Department want you to know that your tap water is safe to drink and that it meets or surpasses all federal and state standards for quality and safety. As a part of our annual reporting processes and requirements, we distribute this report to all residents in this community. So a couple things that'll happen next. One, Chelsea here in City Hall is actively putting all these reports in envelopes. So every household in the City of Gibraltar will have a copy of this report. Number 2, we will be looking at posting this publicly in other channels for broader access beyond the household delivery. And then 3, we'll have a copy of this report here in City Hall. So I want to make sure that everybody's aware that this report is coming out. In the interest of transparency, I think it's really important to acknowledge that one element of the report, and if you'll receive a copy of this at home, is while the headline I read is something we're very proud of, we have a EGLE notice in this report. I'm just going to give you the high-level summary, and I'm here to answer any questions you have, including in public comment. At a high level, in every July, so July 1st through July 31st, a part of our testing requirements involve testing for 2 disinfectant byproducts. Now, this is complex scientific terminology, but just to be very specific for you, trihalomethanes, which is called TTHM, and haloacetic acids 5, which is called HAA5. So part of the broader reporting requirements are to do these 2 tests every year from July 1st to July 30th. City of Gibraltar did these tests, but there's a clerical error by the teams in submitting the tests with the wrong address to Eagle, the reviewing party. So as a part of that clerical error, Eagle's asked us to include paperwork around this testing, and that's going to be included in your CCR. So you'll see a notice in your CCR, as a part of your CCR, around that testing, and I want to make sure you're aware of it. So again, the headline I think is really exciting, which is we all should be very reassured that we're doing everything that we should be doing and making sure that every single member of this community has safe tap water to drink, and that it meets or surpasses all federal and state requirements for quality and safety. And I want to make sure that we transparently share with you, just as you're reading your report, about that Eagle notice that's in your report. Again, the testing was completed. It's a clerical error by our teams on the address that was submitted to Eagle, and I want to make sure we educated you on the why behind that inclusion. Any questions from council? Next item on our strategic priority list is going to be, as we look at our West Jefferson water main, I'm really excited because we had our kickoff meeting with Fishbeck. Thanks to Councilman Cox, Treasurer Fonte, and other parties. I'm excited about the partnership with Fishbeck. At a high level, the kickoff meeting, Fishbeck was selected to be our partner in this journey. And as a part of that, we're working with all the other stakeholders, including those that allocated the dollars for this grant, to make sure that we kick off the project and that we maximize the dollar spend of the allocation as much as possible to fix as much of that West Jefferson water main as our finances allow. We have $1 million from the grant, and then we have matching costs that we must contribute from the City of Gibraltar. So the kickoff discussion allows us to really look at the worst section possible of the West Jefferson water main, a section where we've unfortunately experienced breaks, and make sure that we target that, but to extend the projects as much as possible across that water main. So that's ongoing. We're excited about that. As far as other priorities go, next council meeting, I want to make sure we advance the Benesh discussion around our water loss audits and associated phased approach to that project. So if you recall, we completed the leak detection, and now we need to segue into the unmetered usage and other elements of that pathway. So stay tuned for more on Benesh and the progression of our water loss detection. I think the high-level goal is to find water loss where we have it and to reduce our water loss percentage as a means of saving money for the operation and hopefully ultimately for the households that we serve. And then the only other thing I'll call out is bridges. I know there's been a lot of discussions on bridges. And as Katie, Clerk Tomasic had put out there, we do have an exciting public hearing coming up related to the Horse Island and Young Bridge, July 28th, keep me honest. And so we look forward to public input. One goal of ours is to put data and public input behind the pathways for our city, the operational decisions we make. And so Treasurer Fonte, just a huge thanks to you because you played an immense role in the progression of that activity. So I won't cover anything else since I think that's some of the highlights that I wanted to call out today. But council, any questions, comments? Great. Council reports. Councilman Valentine, we'll turn over to you for 33rd District Court.
No report, sir.
Any questions for Councilman Valentine? We don't have Councilwoman Wood here, so we won't have any Beautification Commission or Historical Museum updates. Anybody have questions for Councilman Wood that we want to capture? Councilman Cox, turn the floor to you.
We, for the Planning Commission, we approved a non-conforming sign at Charlie's Upholstery, which is the location that's in Humbug. I think I don't want to speak on the commission's behalf, but the thought was because this isn't a public road and this is a private area, the non-conforming use fit for the applicant's request, so the commission approved it. There was another discussion brought up. I just want to touch on this topic. Commissioner Baker brought up to the commission to reconsider the potential use for residential above commercial in a C3 district. There wasn't a lot of feedback upon that request, but that request was made. That's my report.
Thank you, Councilman Cox. Any questions for Councilman Cox on planning DDA matters? All right, Councilman McNabb, floor is yours.
Thank you, Council. As far as the Waterways Commission, all the buoys have been deployed. Lighting has been repaired from the Horse Island Inlet, and the weed harvester has been used and is running. Hopefully this week that the guys will get out and start using it. There are 4 areas that they're going to start working on. I believe Wednesday they were going to get out and do some weed harvesting. Hopefully it stays running. And that's the only report I have.
Thank you, Councilman McNabb. Any questions for Councilman McNabb? Councilman Molnar, floor is yours.
No report, Your Honor.
Any questions for Councilman Molnar? We don't have Councilman Walden, so we will not have any Recreation Commission report. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to our Parks and Rec Director report. With that report, I want to just give a couple updates, and I just want to make sure I read the notes from Austin directly. What he's asked me to do is acknowledge a couple things. We'll start with Music in the Park. It's exciting because Music in the Park is back in the city of Gibraltar with our first Music in the Park this Thursday. Begins at 6 p.m. It's music by Detroit Social Club, and they'll have food by Roundhouse Barbecue and Bready White Sourdough. So we're really excited about the kickoff of Music in the Park for all of our residents in the community. I know I personally enjoy those Music in the Parks, and we have added another Music in the Park this year. So we have 7 in total, I believe. And that has been published via Clark Tomasic on our Facebook page, and I know it's been shared widely. So refer to the schedule of events. We hope to see you this Thursday at 6 p.m. for the mentioned Music in the Park festivities. Any questions for the group on Music in the Park? All right. The other thing I want to call out is going to be our 4th of July celebration. It's hard to believe that we're so close to 4th of July. We have a wealth of festivities going on for 4th of July. Austin, our Parks and Recreation Director, told me to highlight a few things. And Clark Tomasic has put this online, so everybody should have a copy of this via our City of Gibraltar Facebook page. The things I want to call out are we have our carnival and all the rides and festivities, and that's going to be by Wade Shows. We'll have July 3rd. Wade Shows will be there for the carnival from 2 to 11 p.m. We'll have Gibraltar Firefighters Association has a beer tent from 5 to 10 p.m., and we'll have live music from 6 to 9 p.m. So festivities will be heavy on the 3rd in those mentioned time slots. Then on July 4th, we have our parade. It begins at City Hall at 10 a.m. I know Clerk Tomasic put out another post reminding everybody to make sure they get their parade applications in so that we can have what has been always a incredibly festive and well-attended parade activity. Clerk Tomasic, anything you want to remind anybody on that front?
No.
All right. Following the parade, we'll have all the festival activities that you are used to, including exciting topics such as acknowledging and celebrating employees of the year across our departments here in the city of Gibraltar that make each day possible for this community. We'll have Carnival by Wade Shows from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. We'll have the Gibraltar Firefighters Association beer tent from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. We have our great fireworks show at dusk. We'll have live music throughout the day with a variety of different bands. So I want to stop there and just make sure everybody's aware of 4th of July festivities. Austin asked me to make sure that was acknowledged this evening. Any questions for Parks and Recreation Director Reynolds? All right. We'll hope to see everybody at the 4th of July. We're excited for the 3rd and 4th festivities. City Attorney, floor is yours.
No report.
Any questions for our City Attorney? With no City Administrator report this evening, we will turn over to Clerk Tomasic.
No report.
Any questions for Clerk Tomasic? Treasurer Fonte, floor is yours.
Wonderful. Good evening, everyone. Under my agenda, I had a request for engineering services. I'm going to wrap that up in the discussion about the establishment of practices for implementing professional service rotations. This is something that council, when you came together in the early stages, this is one of the things that you not only identified, but I've been at this now for about a year, and this is one of my identifications, and I'd like to wrap this up as soon as possible. I know we're not going to do it today, but there is a practicality to all this. First of all, I'd like to thank John Zonton and his family for allowing you to venture into this Department of DPW. You really, hopefully I think everybody will understand the importance of having that position. It's going to relieve a lot of details from a city administrator, give the city administrator a chance to lead and manage these departments, but it'll also put us in a focus of expertise in that area for now and in the future. So with that said, the Infrastructure Committee identified that we're still on an expired contract with engineering. And we can go down the line with some of our other services that we should also take a look at. But I think it's, instead of the so-called proverbial kick in the can, I would like to see council come together and establish some dates for not only the engineering RFP, but for the other professional services that Amy and I identified, and I'll go over them with you quickly. One is our property and liability insurance. We haven't rotated that, I don't know for how many years. It's sole sourced right now, and it hasn't been rotated. The insurance for hospitalization and benefits, we went through quite an ordeal this year just by tapping into the resources of options and so on and so forth, and I think we became successful in doing that, but it's still an area that should have a competitive look at it. There's a reason for that, and I'll go over all those things. The yearly auditing from Plant Moran, this is critical. Most businesses under Sarbanes-Oxley are required to change auditing firms every 5 years. And when it comes to the public sector, this doesn't happen. It's not required by Congress, but it is a best practice that everybody promotes. So that would be a thing that we would be looking for. Now, these things can't turn around quickly. They need forecasting and calendar dates so that we can get the RFPs out for them. We get into legal, we get into IT, we get into solid waste contracts that, have expiration dates. The assessing office has expiration date. I think one of the things that might be out there yet is planning. We need to focus in bringing that together for full cycle. So with that said, we have projection dates for certain things for 2025, 2026, and 2027. The essence of it, as I sent to you in correspondence to all the council people, is it gives us a fresh perspective. After so many years, it's good to rotate. You'll get new eyes on and help identifying potential issues, and you can take that and you can spread that out through all the other professional services. It aids into finding potential issues. The influence of a new auditor will take away the influence of past relationship and established practices, and basically the rotation will help firms from becoming overly familiar with our processes here. And so that's all good. And we've made a lot of ground coverage this year with identifying a lot of issues. Some of them are still in the process of being resolved, but I would like council to entertain that discussion sooner rather than later. That goes for engineering services along with all these other attributes.
I think, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to jump in for a moment and mention that, from two perspectives. One on the council here, I put together a matrix of professional services back in January of 2024 for us to review and consider for looking at competitive bids for those services. And we've done really close to nothing on those, and it's something that we've continued to use the same vendors pretty loyally, and I think it's important that we do put these out for rotational, make sure that we're getting the most competitive service, not only from a cost perspective, but also from a service perspective, make sure that they're responsive to us. I think that one of the biggest challenges was the absence of the city administrator position in terms of quarterbacking these. But I don't think we can continue to operate without somebody let's just do it. Let's put something out there, even if it's a request for proposal that isn't drafted by the hand of a city administrator. We can copy and paste something without much effort to put out there. There's not a whole lot of vendors when it comes to engineering services that are going to be considering bidding, and there's probably 5 companies that would bid for engineering. There's probably 3 companies that would bid for planning. This is not a area of industry that there's a significant number of vendors that would entertain being a vendor for us, and those can go out relatively quickly. I really think they could, and I really think, and I've thought for a long time that we should put these out there. To touch on the auditing portion of it, every time I've been on a board overseeing an entity, whether it's a privately held company or whether it's a nonprofit association or some other trade association, every time we've switched vendors when it comes to auditing, we find savings and we find issues that we can resolve to our benefit going forward. The downside of switching vendors is the initial upfront cost, because they have to familiarize themselves with our operations and our financial documentation and procedures. Every time I've ever done it, the initial upfront cost is overcame by the savings that we develop by making the changes that they've recommended. When having the same auditing company for you talk about Sarbanes-Oxley. When you're looking at a publicly traded stock under Sarbanes-Oxley, or something subject, not necessarily publicly traded, but something under Sarbanes-Oxley, that requirement is your auditing firm can't be the same as your standard accounting firm. And they do that for a reason. It's because there's a public trust associated with it. That same public trust is evident in a city operation too. But it's not required by Congress, as you mentioned. But it is a good practice, and I think it probably is well worth the initial upfront cost, or at least finding out what the initial upfront cost from a couple of other vendors are for an auditing service. And it really would be probably wise of us to consider going forward to have different auditing company as opposed to your standard accounting firm.
Can I speak out on that?
Please.
Okay, at this point, we are at year end. It is too late for us to do it for this year. I have no problem doing it for future years, but at this year, I'm at year end.
Yeah.
We don't have the ability to put out an RFP for the auditors.
No, but it's probably a good time to put out an RFP for next year. Consider, get the ball
I was,
rolling.
yeah, in October would be the perfect time for us to do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can, here it is, coming up on July, we can write that October date into our future agendas so that we know by October that we're going to be putting out an RFP for that.
Yeah, and I have no problem with that. I just want to caution you that it's a little too late for
Understood.
this
Yeah,
fiscal year.
yeah, what, you got 4 days?
Please
or-
don't kill me, because you will give me a heart
Yeah.
attack if
No,
you do
no,
that
I
to
think
me.
that's a reasonable ask, that, they're gonna, any auditing firm is gonna need probably every bit of 6 to 10 weeks to prepare. So,
Yes.
Yeah, 5 or 6 days isn't enough to do that, and I understand that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think, I agree with Councilman Molnar and Treasurer Fonte. I think Councilman Molnar put that professional grid together, so we should look at that and make sure that that's updated with accurate dates and information. Agree with Councilman Molnar. I think we got the waste management turned over, we got the assessor turned over, and we got the attorney turned over. I think we've made solid decisions on those 3, but we have many other professional services that have not been looked at. And right now, we're carrying an interim agreement with our city planner services, which we need to settle. So I would suggest 2 things. 1, get that professional service matrix updated immediately, and I'm glad to support that activity. That should be pretty easy. And then 2, maybe the infrastructure advisory committee members could work on, in partnership with Mr. Sant as an example, on the engineering RFP. We got good expertise. We could probably.
Well, I think we should have maybe Katie will have an RFP from the past, or.
And we can leverage that
we
with
can-
just
we
some of
can
the expert
leverage that.
input. We could do that immediately. We could do
The other
city-
thing, though, when you get into a rotation, and, so a company that was in the first wave and is your customer, I'm assuming that that firm can't be in the RFP proposal for the next round. Am I correct on that? Because,
Well, that was going to be one of my questions. Are we
because you're not.
going to exclude our current vendors from submitting an RFP based on our request for an RFP? They could
yeah.
become the low bidder and still,
That is the question, because then what's the point?
Well, we have no obligation to choose the low bidder. It's what's in the best interest
Exactly.
of our organization. And I don't think excluding them would be a real good idea, especially in the event that nobody else bids.
I think that one of the things to consider is you talked about a short pool in a lot of these services, right, of opportunity. So we don't want to limit that pool any greater by excluding somebody from it.
Well, you're looking at two things, and I agree with both of you that if the pool is small, then you don't want to shortchange yourself. But you're not only looking for pricing, but you're looking for a rotation. So if you're successful, either at one or the other, you still have the choice as council to accept or reject any and all bids.
Agreed.
Well, and that's what, from a vendor's standpoint, if you bid something 3 times in a row and the owner keeps going with the same person, eventually you're gonna stop bidding on it because you feel like it's a pointless waste of effort.
That's correct.
So that's another reason for a rotational, perspective.
I think, Amy, do you have something to add? And then I have one thing to
I
say.
was going to add something. I think it's important too to kind of space this out a little bit so that you're not putting the stress of like 6 or 7 RFPs in 1 year on professional services on whoever becomes our city admin or even the staff who were trying to create these and get these moving. So I think it's important to make sure that you're spacing it out so that, and that helps with the rotation so that we know every 3 years, we got to do solid waste, we got to do legal, we got to do assessing. The next one, planning, engineering, audit. Does that make sense?
I think it
Just,
does. I think I can make the commitment to help where we can get the professional service matrix updated, 100% accurate and complete this week, circulate it with council. I think to me, the obvious ones, the priority ones, like take health insurance example. We just went through the cycle, right? So we probably have a little more time on that.
January.
Exactly, right? So like, we could look at the timing on necessity of need, right? And then, for example, engineering could be top, right? IT could be top, city planner, we could have a clear prioritization based on immediate need and then timeline considerations so that we can knock them out. And I think if we're talking city administrator, Settle plus John entering the role tomorrow, we'll be set up for that individual to carry the ball. That's my headspace.
And I think some of those things are super related, like planning, building, and engineering. Those I think are important that they're all communicating. And so, for instance, if you brought on a new engineer and they just got comfortable with the procedures of communicating effectively with a planner and a building department, and then 4 months later we change the building department, I think those 3 probably could be, bang, 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 and that way they all get a procedure of working together and keep it fluid for the duration. Just my thoughts.
Yeah, and Amy, you're spot on. It's a good bandwidth call out, and I think the data will inherently help us prioritize based on timeline of need. Treasurer Fonte, I think you're spot on. I think we need to get to this immediately. I'll help with the matrix so we can circulate it this week, and then by next council meeting, with the offline discussions we can have on engineering and others, I think we could start putting some of these wheels in motion, and then we'll have a clear calendarized way that our city admin and John can help support the operation.
Excellent. One other thing is that in the infrastructure committee, we've identified one of the problems that as a treasurer and a check signer yourself is who authorizes certain things through the engineering department. So every time I lay eyes on an invoice, I want to know who authorized this. So it was a suggestion by Mr. Schultz that in his company that he works for, that there is an authorization directive. And I would imagine that once we get into a meeting with Mr. Zant, that we could give him that authorization. It would be like a purchase order attachment. I'll get with Amy on it. We might be even able to coordinate it with our purchasing software so that if there is a service that the engineering department needs to do, it goes through that process and we have a record of it. And then as check signers and invoice preparers, we have a trail here, and it's not a surprise.
I love that. We can make that a part of the dialogue this week, Mr.
Right.
Sant, when we sit down on the on-ramp planning.
Okay, that's it.
Any questions for Treasurer Fonte? Thank you for bringing these topics. We'll make sure we action on those, and council, more information coming. All right, with that, we will turn over to Finance Director McEwen.
Okay, so my first one is a transfer resolution from major to local roads. This is basically transferring some of our funds in major to help build our fund balance in local roads. We have more bridges in local roads and obviously more local roads in general, so more need for funds in that account. We do this once per fiscal year, and since we're approaching the end of the fiscal year, I have it in this packet. I would need a motion for the transfer resolution.
Council, is there a motion for the transfer from major roads to local roads?
Make that motion.
Motion by Molnar, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Cox. Council, any discussion for Finance Director McEwen? Clerk Tomasic will have you call roll.
Valentine?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Mulnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes. Back to you.
All right, so my next one is a transfer resolution for solid waste to general fund. This is the use of our DPW and our staff. Before solid waste was wrapped up in general fund, we separated it out this year for the first year ever, and that's why you're seeing this for the first time. I did a reconciliation based on the time of the girls, my time, as well as all of our DPW workers, which is mostly part-timers for the year.
Make that motion.
Second.
And let's be clear on the motion there. So motion is for solid waste to general fund transfer.
Yes.
You got that?
Well,
I just want to make sure we're crystal clear on the,
to approve the transfer resolution.
yep.
Yep.
Solid waste. General.
Just want to confirm, Council Muller, you go with the
Yes.
motion for transfer resolution for solid waste to general fund.
Yes, 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 yes.
Motion by Molnar. Is there a second?
I second that.
Second by McNabb. Council, any discussion? Clerk Tomasic, please call a roll.
Cox?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Mulnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Finance Director McEwen, back to you.
Okay, my next thing is the final revision of this fiscal year's budget. This is a fun time for me. I'm going between two different budgets, and I feel like both of them have already gotten like some whole shot in them. So this is the final one, and we're looking to be in a better position than I had originally foreseen, with us only pulling $136,000 from our fund balance instead of $186,977. The majority of the accounts were I was able to adjust it within each department. There was expenses in the general fund that with the audit and the ongoing items in there that have changed. Parks and Rec, it's our first year actually pulling out and seeing exactly how much our community centers are costing us with our heating and cooling costs, our water costs, everything else. As always, I highlighted the differences for everybody. And this would be, basically, I'm looking for a motion to approve the final revision as in your packet, so that I can get this entered and processed.
Make the motion to approve the final budget amendment for, I think that says 24, 25, but I think,
Yep, 24, 25.
all right, well, that's the one.
A motion by Molnar, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Valentine. Council, any discussion? Thank you, Finance Director McEwen, for landing the plane on the budget cycle. And with that, we'll have Clerk Tomasic please call roll.
Cox?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Mulnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Finance Director McEwen, back to you.
My next one is the letter of engagement for Plant Moran for our audit beginning July 28th for the fiscal year 24, 25. Usually it would be completed in October, and I would be looking for a motion to accept and approve the engagement letter from Plant Moran.
Council, is there a motion to accept and approve the engagement letter from Plant Moran?
Motion to approve.
Motion by McNabb to accept and approve the engagement letter from Plant Moran. Do we have a second?
Yeah, second.
Second by Valentine. Council, any discussion on this matter? Aside from the plan for RFPing this work in future cycles?
My only question, if you have this information, if not, I understand. I see here the engagement fee is $59,475 is their estimate. Do we know what we spent last year on the same?
It would take me a minute to add it all up, but I can definitely, would it be okay if I did that and emailed you, or do you want me
Yeah,
to
no,
try and do
no,
it real quick?
No, that's perfectly fine. We've already acknowledged that we're at the date that we're at. I'm just curious. So yeah, email's quite okay.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Clerk Tomasic will have you call roll whenever you're ready.
Cox?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Mulnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Finance Director McEwen, back to you.
Thank you. My next one is a motion to approve payment of invoice 2425-1027 to Gibraltar School District in the amount of $6,385.50 for the purchase of road salt. I could not find anything showing that this was taken to council, and I'm trying to follow our purchasing procedure and making sure that I'm getting council approval for anything over $1,000. So
Well, I-
please forgive me if it has already been taken. I couldn't find it.
I appreciate you for bringing this to council, according to the purchasing. Council, the motion being your court to approve payment of invoice 2425-1027 to GSD in the amount of $6,385.50 for the purchase of road salt.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Molnar,
Second.
second by Cox.
Yeah,
Any
and-
discussion on this matter?
I just recall that we found savings by partnering up in bulk purchasing, by the schools purchasing, and then we purchased from them, but there was mutual savings that was received by both.
Thank you. Councilman Valentine?
Just for clarification, we're paying for salt for the Gibraltar School District?
Yep, they store it all on site at the Gibraltar School District.
Yeah,
and
We
then-
are purchasing
the
salt
salt's
from
for
the
us.
Gibraltar School District.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's stored on the site.
They
so we-
store it, and we use it. Good situation.
Just for backup, I ran the numbers, I know it's in yards, but I ran them to tons. Converted them to tons and looked at the regional rates for the price per ton on salt, and I think we're being treated fairly here. So other than substantiating each load and signatures and everything else, the price per ton or price per yard fits into the matrix of what the salt is going for in this area.
Thank you for doing that research. Any further discussion? Councilman McNabb, any further discussion on that? Good? Okay. Clerk Tomasic, can you please call roll?
McNabb? Mulnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
Back to you, Finance Director McEwen.
Okay, so at our last council meeting, we approved the purchase of a Surface Pro for Parks and Rec Director Austin. Councilman Walden came up to me afterwards, and he felt that he could get a better deal, which he was able to find one on Amazon. I didn't want to go in order without getting an adjustment on the motion, because I believe we did motion to buy it from CDWG. I have attached the information for both of it, for the one from CDWG and the cost of that, and also the one that Councilman Walden found on Amazon. The one on Amazon is a slightly older model, but I checked with Austin and he said he would be fine with that as well. So I was going to leave that in your guys' court for what you wanted to do.
Well, thanks to Councilman Walden for doing the further diligence. He seemed
Yes.
somewhat knowledgeable in our last discussion.
Yeah, and he did provide 3. However, the Walmart one, per our IT department, would not work with our BSNA software.
Yeah, I saw that, and thank you for getting the IT perspective in that. Council, motion being your court to authorize the purchase of the Microsoft Surface Pro 9 from Amazon for our Parks and Rec Director instead of the CDWG.
I read the letter from Councilperson Walden, and I agree with him. So I'm going to make the motion that we purchase from Amazon the Microsoft Pro 9.
Okay.
Instead, can you include instead of CDWG, just for the sake of the record? since we
Instead
have
of the bid from CDWG.
1 year.
We have a motion by Valentine, we have a second by McNabb. Council, any further discussion on this matter? Clerk Tomasic, whenever you are ready, we'll have you call roll.
Molnar,
Yes.
Schumate,
Yes.
Valentine,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
McNabb.
Finance Director McEwen, that's a good list. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I am waiting, I was hoping to get it onto this council packet, but unfortunately I was unable to. Our plow, I'm waiting to find out, there was a difference in price, so hopefully, from what was approved by council, so hopefully they will adjust it to the price that was approved by council, or explain to me why there was a difference so that I can bring it to you guys to get approval.
Is this the plow for the UTV?
Yes, it is the plow for the UTV.
We haven't taken delivery on that yet.
We have taken delivery.
Okay.
But the bill for it, there was about an $700, $800 difference between what we were billed versus what we approved by council. I'm not comfortable with that difference, so I am trying to find why that difference occurred.
Is that through Michigan Cat?
McAllister?
McAllister, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm waiting to hear back, and that will be, if it's a difference, I will be bringing it back to council to get approval with the reasoning why the difference occurred. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention, that that is something that I'm currently working
Thanks for
on.
flagging that, because
Agreed.
I don't know if we had purchase orders in place at that point in time.
No.
But thank you for keeping your eyes on that.
And then we also have some work going on with AT&T currently. And
Amazing.
that's all I've got right now. I'll have plenty more next meeting.
Thanks for all you're doing, especially in preparation for audit and everything else with the budget. We appreciate you a lot, Finance Director McEwen.
No problem.
Any questions for Finance Director McEwen? Well, Chief Bullard is not with us today, but Lieutenant Trush next in command is, and so Lieutenant Trush, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Since last council meeting, the police department has responded to 147 calls for service, had 18 incident reports, 1 arrest, 9 traffic citations were issued, and the Detective Bureau investigated 5 cases. Some news that the chief wanted me to share. He's currently in the process of drafting Department Policy 200-25, which encompasses police officer performance reviews. As soon as that policy is completed, those reviews will go into effect. Chief Bullard had the DPW pull the load restriction sign off the new Middle Gibraltar Bridge, as that sign was left over from the old bridge. I located a motor carrier enforcement class that's coming up in September. The city's been having issues with overweight trucks and trailers on the bridges, and as the bridges age, the weight limits decrease. So Officer Bates expressed interest in this class and was assigned to it, and that will be completed in September.
Awesome.
The DDA approved the city to go out for bids for a new camera system. The bid proposal was posted on BidNet by Clerk Tomasic, and the bids were due by June 11th. On June 5th, Chief Bullard had scheduled a walkthrough with 10 different vendors for cameras at City Hall, the Police Department, the Fire Department, the DPW, and the Community Center. Clerk and Chief Bullard opened the bids on June 11th. 8 bids were received, and Chief Bullard will be attending the DDA meeting on July 15th to request funding for the camera system. Officer Jacob Bates was nominated for Police Officer of the Year. Officer Bates' performance has been exceptional, and he has gone above and beyond for the police department and for the residents of Gibraltar. Congratulations to Officer Bates. Chief Bullard also wanted me to inform the residents that I'm sure the residents have noted at the double tracks on Middle Gibraltar Road in Vreeland, there's 2 different companies, 2 different sets of tracks there. One set is Canadian National, the other is Conrail. Conrail replaced their track. So one track of the double is smooth going over. The chiefs reached out to Canadian National to get the second track done at Middle Gibraltar and Vreeland Road, and they have answered, and it sounds like the request is being sent to their engineering department, so hopefully that'll come to fruition. Also attached to the report is the ordinance officer's report. Moving on to the All Traffic Solutions report, a 2-week traffic study was completed on Stoflet between Point and Adams. After the conclusion of the study, no further action will be taken besides regular traffic enforcement. A new traffic study has begun on Adams and Grandview Street. Mentioned of a records clerk report, but I think the chief said that he did that last council meeting. And that takes me to, I wanted to mention too, on the 4th of July, we're asking residents, the parade, to not park your vehicles on the street for the parade route. So the parade will start at 10, and it's a good idea to get your vehicles off the street as early as possible. Officers will be going around knocking on doors, but a lot of times we find vehicles, sometimes it's hard to find the owners to these vehicles. So no parking on the parade route for the morning of July 4th. So it takes me to 2 proposed actions. The first is going to be a request to purchase 1 Glock 21 Gen 5 45 caliber pistol and Trijicon RMR 1 sight for myself from Michigan Police Equipment in the amount of $1,208. A little bit of information on our guns. The police department's current firearms are in need of new parts, including magazines, springs, night sights, triggers, and other things. It's more efficient and cost-effective to purchase new firearms rather than to replace these parts. The current firearms carried by our police officers were put in service in May 2015. We're also keeping the same caliber weapon so as to utilize our current inventory of duty ammo and practice ammo. And we do have a limited amount of spare parts that we can use on the requested new firearms. The remaining, this proposed action is just for 1 firearm. The remaining 11 firearms will be purchased pending council approval during the 2025-2026 police budget. We currently have 12 45 caliber Glock pistols that will be traded in towards the purchase of all 12 guns also. So my request is to purchase 1 new Glock 21 Gen 5 45 caliber pistol with Trijicon sight from Michigan Police Equipment at the my deal price of $1,208. That I wanted to say that the my deal price is only for the pistol. The remaining items on the invoice are not on the my deal price, so I'm not sure if a motion to waive the bid process should start first, but that is what I'm requesting.
So requested action, council, would be a motion for purchasing the new Glock 21 Gen 5 45 caliber pistol with the mentioned sight from Michigan Police Equipment at the MI deal price of $1,208.
We have to make a motion to waive the bid process first?
City attorney, any advice on that
No,
procedural?
Procedurally, the process does require 3 over that amount, so simple motion to waive, and then you could do it all in one.
So council, to start, we would need a motion to waive the bid process.
I'm gonna make the motion to waive the bid process and also include in that motion the purchase of 1 Glock 21 Gen 5 45 caliber pistol for the police department.
Any issue with the combination approach?
No, just be more specific that you're gonna buy it from that one vendor.
Who was it again?
It's Michigan Police Equipment.
Buy that pistol from Michigan Police Equipment.
So let's stop there and make sure we got clear language for Clerk Tomasic. So the opening of that motion was to waive the bid process for this item, and then you got it?
Yep.
Okay, Councilman Valentine has made the motion. Is there a second for that motion? Councilman McNabb has seconded that motion. Any discussion? Clerk Tomasic, once you have that capture, we'll have you call roll.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
McNabb? Mulnar?
Yes.
Motion carried. Lieutenant Trush, back to you.
The second proposed action is a request to upfit the new 2025 Polaris Northstar 570 with emergency lights and siren in the amount of $2,154.93. The Gibraltar Police Department and the Fire Department took possession of the 2025 Polaris Northstar 570 ATV in May. Chief Bullard received a quote from Priority One Emergency in Belleville to upfit the ATV with 6 emergency lights and siren in the amount of $2,154.93. Priority One Equipment has equipped all of our police vehicles and has done a good job for us over the past 10 years. Also in this request is going to be a request to waive the bid process. Additionally, the vehicle, if approved, will be dropped off by myself tomorrow and will be completed in time for the 4th of July festival. Chief Bullard also wanted to note that he'll be utilizing $1,077.47 from PD operations and $1,077.47 from the fire department vehicle maintenance.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Will it be completed by 6:30 or after 6:30?
For budget cycle purposes.
June 30th.
By 6:30.
By 6:30.
By 6:30, perfect.
We'll make sure we follow up because it's critical as we close this budget cycle to capture invoices and realization of services and accrue where we need to. So,
I understand.
with that, council, we need a motion to waive the bid process according to the reasons mentioned. If you were to then want to support the purchase in the amount of $21,54.93 for the emergency lights and siren. All that's in your action proposal, but lead that motion with waiving the bid process if you choose.
How much did we pay for the ATV?
26,000.
Yeah, Fence Sergeant McEwen, do you have the exact amount for the?
6,000?
I'm pretty sure that Councilman Molnar is actually pretty correct on the 26.
26.
Yeah. It's around that.
And only 6 or 7,000 was spent by the city. The remainder was contributions from residents.
That's
Donation.
correct. There was a lot of donations.
Yeah, significant donations.
Yep.
Oh, actually, it was less than 26,000. It was $23,490.24.
Yeah,
But we approved up to 26 because we knew the upfitting was going to be coming up. So I think that was part of our anticipated expenditure.
Agreed.
Initially.
Does that include the vinyl too?
The vinyl has already been done, so I think that was separate.
So I'll make the motion to waive the bid process and purchase the equipment from Priority One for the lighting and siren system for the Polaris.
in the amount of $21,54.93.
Second.
We have a motion by Molnar, we have a second by Valentine. Any further discussion on this matter, council? Clerk Tomasic will have you call roll whenever you're ready.
Valentine?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Mulnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes. Motion carried. Lieutenant Trush, back to you.
Thank you, Mayor, thank you, council, and that's all I have for my report.
Thank you for holding down the department. Just reinforcing congrats to Officer Bates, and thank you, not only for the training proactiveness, but for the Officer of the Year special.
Thank you.
I know we have a race coming through town, and from those signs that are posted up around, and so it's a half marathon that's running through town, correct, on Saturday, 28th,
That's correct.
morning time? Do you know the route that they take it on?
I don't have it in front of me.
I know from historically that race, for the residents' perspective here, those signs, you mentioned no parking on the 4th of July for the parade route, and probably similar type of, at least, keep an eye out for it. I think they come up West Jefferson, and then they head on North Gibraltar Road, go past Scottage Inn, and then turn left on Middle Gibraltar, and then they end up going down Horse Island on their way back through, at which time they go right down North Gibraltar Road, and then they head back out that same direction. So the residents should be on the lookout for that.
Yep, and thank you for bringing that up.
Yep, you bet.
Any other questions or comments for Lieutenant Trush and Director of Public Safety position? All right, well, Fire Chief, pending a contract finalization, Simon, the floor is yours. And just as an inroad, we're very much looking forward to having a contract mutually settled and celebrating not only your contract execution, but swearing you into that position. Our target is going to be to do that at the July 14th meeting when we have all parties in attendance. But with that being said, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and good evening, Mayor and Council. Fire Department report. I'll start off by congratulating Firefighter of the Year, Caden Eshelman. Caden exemplifies everything we strive for in the fire service. He's calm, consistent, and unwavering in his dedication. We appreciate everything he does. All of our team members are absolutely fantastic, but Caden stood out this year in attending additional trainings to further his education, making as many calls as he possibly can. Just Caden all around is a fantastic addition to our team, so we're happy to have him, and we'd like to congratulate him on Firefighter of the Year.
Amazing, thank you.
Run numbers for the report period of 6/4 to 6/18. We had 22 total calls for service, 20 of which were EMS calls. We did have 2 of those which were mutual aided to Rockwood and 1 mutual aid from Brownstown, and then 2 fires, 1 of which was an auto aid to Huron Township. I'd also like to note that as of today, we've had 8 calls for service in the last 24 hours, 4 of which were from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. So very busy, hot day. Thanks to the crews for handling that. Everybody did a fantastic job. Continuing on, we've just been busy between calls and everything else. You'll see my notes in the report. I do have one proposed action item tonight, which is a request to approve the 2025 Gibraltar Fire Department wage scale. We did make a few changes. Myself, Chief Bullard, and Finance Director McEwen went through and made some revisions. If you'll scroll down to the bottom or turn to the last page of the proposed wage and pay, I've got the additions highlighted in red. So the additions pending approval, as outlined in the document, are a new higher pay rate of $15 per call instead of the 30 per hour rate. When members hire on with no certifications, that would be an initial rate. Once they obtain the certifications, we would give them the full 30 per call or 40 at night rate. Additionally, an EMS director stipend. I did make an error in this. I just noted a few minutes ago, called out in the actual document itself, the amount is $300 annually to be paid out in the first pay period in December. In the action item itself, I did call that out as $350 annually. I would like to request that it is the $350 annually, and I can make the amendment to that document prior to approval. And then the uniform allowance, again, working with Finance Director McEwen, of $200 per person annually after 1 year of service in good standing, to be used for maintenance of items that members need to repair after their initial sets of gear, or initial sets of uniforms that they get when they hire on.
Well, thank you for the summary. Thank you for denoting, just to make sure we're clear on the discrepancy of the 350 versus 300. Your ask is for 350.
Correct. And my apologies for making that error when I was transferring everything over between documents.
I'm happy to make the motion to approve the new 2025 Gibraltar Fire Department wage scale with the notation of $350 stipend for the EMS director to be paid out annually in the first pay period in December.
Motion by Molnar. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
The second by McNabb. Council, any discussion?
Who is the EMS director?
Right now defaults to myself. I can't appoint that position, so I can appoint a sergeant level or above.
Any further discussion?
My question doesn't have to do with the edit. I'm just curious what the special response team is. I know that it doesn't have anything to do with the change that we're asking. I'm just curious what the special response team is.
No, and I can I can add that too, that special response teams are hazmat, USAR, so urban search and rescue, dive, and arson. So those are any of the specialty teams that we pay into. Participation on those teams is voluntary. Those members do have to take additional training, a lot of additional training, especially with teams like hazmat.
Do we have anybody on these teams?
I
at
am
current?
currently on the Michigan Task Force 1 Urban Search and Rescue Team.
Got it. Okay, yeah, that was my only question.
Any further discussion from council? Clerk Tomasic, whenever you're ready, we'll have you call roll.
Cox?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Mulnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Motion carried. Back to you, Chief Simon.
Thank you, and with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you for all you in the department are doing, and look forward to the 14th, for which we will reconvene and hopefully be celebrating you accordingly. With that, any questions for Fire Chief Simon? All right, we do not have any unfinished business. We do not have any new business, and we do not have any tabled and referred items. Just one closing comment from me, which is incredibly excited about the Music in the Park series of events that we discussed earlier, as well as our 4th of July. And I know I recapped, a great schedule of events for 4th of July, and just think it's important to also just acknowledge a special shout out to the Gibraltar School District, the partnership we have with them, the marching band that plays such a critical role in those festivities. Just want to thank them for their partnership amongst our collaboration with Rockwood and our neighbors who are active participants in the festivities. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to public comment. Do we have any members of public comment that would like to address council this evening? And if so, you make sure that light is still green, and we'd love to hear from you and state your name and address. I'm not seeing any public comment, so we will close public comment, and council will be looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion from McNabb, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Cox. Clerk Tomasic, please call roll.
Cox?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Mulnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you. Huh? Thank you. One thing for you.
Excellent job. Excellent. Talking to both of you.
Everybody?
The only reason I was trying to assist is, obviously, our finance director knows that 6:30 is the end of the fiscal year.
I was thinking, I thought she was saying she's June 30th. I wanted to say which day. She's saying 6:30. I thought she was saying, it's gonna be done in a couple days. I'm sorry.
That's why I say just, the invoice will be in by 6:30. At 6:30 PM, 6:30 today.